Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to the Silent Grace channel. If you're new to the channel, please smash that like and subscribe. With that being said, we're going to dive into some wrestling news.
Reminder that pro wrestling never passes on an opportunity for a dramatic moment. Although there's a case to be made that this should have happened on SmackDown, the bloodline is so hot that the WWE would be foolish not to tap into the popularity. Number 2, good continuity. Now, as Gorilla Monsoon famously said, the past is prologue. Or was that William Shakespeare? Anyway, the WWE continues to masterfully blend past storylines into current ones, as seen by Sami Zayn reminding Jey Uso of the mind games he suffered during his time with the Bloodline. This makes sense, especially since Sami experienced them himself and he's looking out for his friend. Things also took an odd turn where Sami Zayn was seen speaking with Solo Sikoa, which was likely Zayn's effort to reconcile the Bloodline, but that will be a far more dangerous turn. Number 3, The Miz's Devil's Bargain. Now, The Miz has quickly realized he's in over his head as Karrion Kross reminded the A-lister he now works for the Final Testament. The Miz, never the most courageous of wrestlers, even as a babyface, is way out of his element and has to deal with the ramifications of making a deal with the devil after the Final Testament saved him from the Wyatt Six. What could have been an average storyline now has depth as The Miz finds himself stuck between the Final Testament and the Wyatt Six, with having to wonder if he can weasel his way out. Number 4, another wild brawl with Rollins and Reed. And when in doubt, have wrestlers beat the tar out of each other. This time-tested method came through again last night as Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed had a wild brawl outside the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Rollins vs. Reed isn't the type of feud you build with promos, and last night's Donnybrook was custom-made for these two. Number 5, R-Truth Comedy Gold. Last night's backstage segment with R-Truth was full of laughs, but that didn't stop the WWE from exploring the fallout from the Miz's betrayal of the 4,913th time 24/7 champion R-Truth. He always shows that he's funny, but he won't be clowned by the Miz, slapping the taste out of the Miz's mouth when he thought all was forgiven by Truth. Truth calling Pete Dunne Butch on the way out and asking where's Pete shows how Truth can shift gears from drama to comedy without blinking. Number 6, a well-deserved W for the War Raiders. Last night's triple threat match was a barn burner fans expected as the WWE gave the New Day, the LWO's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and the War Raiders time to entertain the fans with their dynamic styles. They also used the match to further Xavier Woods' heel turn as he used heel tactics during the match. And best of all, the War Raiders got the win, a well-deserved one, as they spent far too long putting over teams when they should be leading the tag division. The ease the Raiders showed at working against speedy and high-flying opponents is further evidence that they're deserving of a run as tag team champions. But that was good. What about the bad? As number 1, a mid-show. A Raw featured a shocking selection of mid-matches as most of the card was pure filler, a combination of mid-card matches or matches that have been seen before. Granted, the tag match was strong, but the rest of the show was something you'd expect if 2/3 of the roster was taken out by the flu or held hostage in Saudi Arabia. And it's one thing to give Ivy Nile and Zelina Vega a high-profile match on Raw, but something entirely different when the show also features Sheamus vs. Ludwig Kaiser and a throwaway match between Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio. Number 2, a weak build for Crown Jewel. But there's no getting around Raw was a weak build-up for Crown Jewel. As we've said it before, the WWE likely feels it doesn't need to hype big shows, but casual fans tuning in had little reason to want to watch Saturday's PLE based off last night's Raw. Hype videos can be effective at promoting events, but the WWE should have combined them with live interactions between the wrestlers working Saturday. Number 3, LWO continues to lose. Now, is there any hope for the LWO? It's difficult to say, and yes, the group's inability to win matches has turned them into one of WWE's weakest factions. The group had the potential to go next level when Ray took Legado Fantasma and invited them to join them. However, the frequent losses reminds us of the Brawling Brutes, a team anchored by a former world champion whose frequent losses brought everyone involved down a notch, including Sheamus. This faction needs to fold immediately. And number 4, Rhea Ripley isn't sympathetic as a victim. But the WWE's decision to paint Rhea Ripley as a victim against heels Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez is nonsensical. The idea that Liv and Raquel's beef against Rhea is groundless doesn't hold up when you recall the Eradicator made both superstars' lives miserable when she was a heel and they were faces. This approach also makes Ripley look weak as she seeks sympathy from the fans. The better approach would be for Rhea to double down and tell both heels that if they thought she was dangerous before, they were in for a proverbial world of hurt. Now, there was nothing downright ugly. Raw's matches were surprisingly mediocre, especially for a go-home show. Last night, the WWE accomplished more with angles that didn't involve matches, whether it was backstage segments, in-ring segments, or backstage brawls. While these segments were effective and always welcome, fans tune in for good matches too, something that was a little lacking last night. What did you guys think of the Red Brand last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news.
Raw last night, it wasn't the greatest and it wasn't the worst, but there was so much. This 2 hour stuff, I think they need to go back to the 3 hours. That's my opinion. I think they need to go back to the 3 hours. Because this 2 hour stuff, they just don't have enough time to put everybody, on the program. I think they made a mistake going 2 hours. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts was on Raw.
Our first story looks at WWE is The Rock's top priority. At top of today's news are stories concerning The Rock's future in WWE. While it's believed that The Rock's deal with TKO Holdings requires him to wrestle a certain amount of matches, the latest news clarifies this. As first up, The Rock's future appearances. A Fightful Select recently discussed whether The Rock will appear at WrestleMania, which so far appears to be the plan. The report reveals sources within WWE claim that the company is a priority for The Rock, and he's expected in the fold here and there in sporadic fashion. Higher-ups that Fightful spoke to said that The Rock has made it clear he's part of the family and will appear when he's available. This statement lends support to the idea about The Rock making key appearances to forward storylines and to build suspense. Indeed, his appearance at Bad Blood launched a fury of online guessing about what it meant, with The Rock's hand gesture hinting at a possible triple threat involving him, Cody, and Roman Reigns. Next up, did The Rock change a major booking? The Fightful Select report on The Rock suggests the final boss's availability changed the WWE's plans for Bad Blood. Fightful noted, as far as the WWE Bad Blood, we're told this wasn't something had a lot of heavy planning, but the possibility of him appearing became a reality in the weeks prior. According to Fightful, The Rock's availability led to the WWE booking the Roman and Cody tag team match. The news also stated that the WWE didn't get confirmation on The Rock's presence until a few days before the event. The idea that the WWE is booking around The Rock's potential appearances doesn't make sense if indeed his presence wasn't confirmed until days before Bad Blood. Nonetheless, the WWE's desire to get The Rock may lead to questionable decisions. Next up is The Rock appearing at Raw's Netflix premiere. Another question being raised is whether The Rock will appear during Raw's much anticipated Netflix premiere. By now, you've likely heard the reports that the WWE wants to book this as a must-see show, and The Rock's presence would certainly make it must-see television. The latest Fightful report on The Rock explained that sources at the Inuit Dome told Fightful that they were hopeful that The Rock would be present at the first WWE Raw on Netflix, and there's buzz internally for it, even though it's not confirmed. While The Rock has many projects besides movies, the biggest obstacle to an appearance, especially a wrestling appearance, is his film schedule. Since fans don't know what shows, if any, The Rock is obligated to appear at, particularly Mania, it's difficult to tell whether he has to book his movie schedule around wrestling. Next up, a huge main roster push. Rumors are flying in that former NXT North American champion Obafemi is heading to Raw. The big man recently dropped the title to Tony D'Angelo during NXT's premiere on the CW, a loss which on paper frees Femi up for a jump to the main roster. Fightful's Corey Brennan discussed this on X, and the excerpt that follows. Oba has long been viewed as a future WWE champion internally, as far as back as winning the North American title. As of Halloween Havoc, I've not heard of anyone saying goodbyes, but I'm currently inquiring further. Many in NXT see him as a man to dethrone Trick, most likely at NXT Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend. Now, if Oba wins the NXT Championship, it's unlikely he'll move to the main roster. Some believe that the time isn't right for a jump and that Oba could benefit from more time in the WWE's developmental territory. What do you guys think? Should he make the jump? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE have pitched a match for a legend to return. Now, so far, WWE have confirmed that ECW legend Dawn Marie will be making a return at the NXT 2300 show on November 6th. There's also rumors that the former Bubba Ray Dudley may be wrestling at the event as well. However, that's not all, as WWE have also made a pitch to a former ECW legend, that being Lita. According to Fightful, there was a pitch for a tag team match that would involve Lita, who appeared in ECW as Miss Congeniality. The pitch we heard was an 8 or 10 women tag that would happen on the show. Also, according to Fightful, Lita was actually at the 2300 arena last week as well. However, we're told that was actually for unrelated reasons. The match was being pitched throughout the week. Would you guys like to see Lita return as Miss Congeniality? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, did the Wyatt Six kidnap The Miz? Last but not least, the WWE continues to demonstrate how to use social media to explore storylines it doesn't have time for on its regular television. The latest example was seen in a video posted by Karrion Kross, where Scarlett Bordeaux informs him that The Miz has been kidnapped by Uncle Howdy's fearsome faction. Carrion also commented, yes, I have been notified. I'll try to find him for 10 minutes and then I'm heading back to the hotel. Did you guys see this video? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more.
And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on The Miz being kidnapped by the White Six. My mic was muted. Whatever. Mistakes happen. If you're new to the channel, please smash that like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. You all take care.